Welcome to Slingshot 25 Shotcast, a series of bite-sized podcasts that will feel like an espresso shot to your brain. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Courtney.
Something we've been thinking about is a question, actually. It's not so much something we were thinking about as, Courtney, you may recall that just a short while ago we were doing a presentation at a large group meeting, and someone in the crowd who is just a good friend of ours that we've known for a number of years, his name is Sean, but that's as far as we'll go. He
thanks you for that.
Yes. He asked us a really great question.
He's so smart. He asks hard questions.
He does. That's what we love about Sean. So Courtney and I were talking about what we always talk about. I was talking about leadership. Courtney was talking
about change.
You've got it. So Sean asked this really great question of, in all the years that we've been practicing and talking about leadership and change.
A big emphasis on all the years.
I know he did. Now that you say that, I realize he may have
all the years that you've been doing this.
Decades that you've been doing this. He asked, what have we learned? Like, how has our thinking changed from where we started to where we stand today? Brilliant question. And then his part two, because he's a good part two question asker, is, and where are we going next? Like, what do we think about the future? So I would love to share with our listeners the question as we answered it.
Yeah.
So if it's all right with you, Courtney, I'll start with leadership.
Go first.
So in terms of leadership, I think the thing that has been sort of distilling itself to me through the decades of dealing with leadership development, learning about it, practicing it, seeing the effects of it, is that leadership development does not come down to teaching leaders techniques. We get a little excited about distilling things into techniques, like defining things as steps 1, 2, 3, or if you say this or you approach it that way, that is all you need to know. So we just get these rules and then head on out there and lead. It doesn't actually work that way.
Yeah, can I interrupt with an example? Like anything that boils down to an acronym?
Oh, yeah.
Like when you say technique, think about, your feedback model, use STAR. STAR's not bad, but it's keep going now.
That's right. Yeah. And I think you're bringing up a really important nuance to this, which is there's nothing wrong with technique like STAR, which in that case, by the way, for those of you who don't know what STAR is, let's go ahead and describe what that technique is. It's a way of giving feedback that says, here was the situation or task, that's the ST in STAR. Let me describe what I'm talking about when you did, right? So it's that. And then the A is what
action you took.
Yeah, what action you took. So you did that thing, and then here was the result, and that's the R. So that's a technique, and it's not a bad technique. The problem with that, and the thing that I've learned most about leadership through the years, is you have to go deeper than technique. You have to go way deeper than technique. You've got to get down into what I call this substantive level and look at the skills of empathy, the skill of humility, the skill of curiosity, and the skill of believing in others. If you don't start from that much deeper space of actually seeing people, caring about people, and getting out of your own way in terms of your thinking, then all of the technique in the world is not going to make you a great leader.
Mm-hmm. And I think you just hit on it when you said, in terms of your thinking. Like those models sort of leave people the impression that if you just use this model, you don't have to think. And the actually opposite is what we believe. Like, we only care about how you think.
That's right.
And then how you have the conversation will sort of unfold itself in the right direction.
Yeah. So, and I would say that sets us up to what's next in terms of leadership, like what we see the future of leadership is all about. And that is just more of this. We don't need leaders with more technique. We need leaders who think differently. And that thinking differently, the way they show up has to be firmly centered around humanity, like truly seeing people in the workplace, getting to know them, understanding them, caring about them. It's all of that deeply human skills. That's the future of leadership. Yep.
Very good. So the thing that came to mind for me, and it took me an extra beat to come up with this, but which is why I went second answering both times. The thing I think that's changing a lot that I get really excited about is what's happening in the workforce there is a very big shift going on. And we've talked on this podcast a lot about people wanting to be in jobs, people choosing to leave jobs, how they fit. And we're hearing a lot about as people there's a whole chunk of the workforce that's, 5 to 10 years from retirement. They're working in really tough environments and they're asking themselves, is this worth it? And, if they've had good jobs, they have good savings, like they're saying, you know what, I might just go ahead and retire. Or I'm going to go look somewhere else, or I'm going to do something different. And as those people leave the workforce, they're leaving not because they don't have skills, not because they don't have contributions to add, not because they don't care about what they were doing. It's just too hard in an environment that, I think I said at the conference, and I'll say it here, like the environment sucks.
Yeah.
And so you play that chunk of the workforce, like exiting earlier than they would have. And then you look at the other end of the workforce where the young people coming into the workforce are saying, you know what I want? I want to learn and I want to grow and I want to mentor and I want someone to who's done this before to teach me. And so they're looking at organizations and saying, I want to work in organizations where those people are in the workforce. They're part of it. And then they're there with a generous mindset and they want to help me. And so if the top part of the workforce is leaving early and the bottom part of the workforce, the younger part, is not having what they want in it, meaning other people who can teach them things, for what that tells me is, for the first time ever, having leadership development programs, investing in building your leaders so they create an environment where people can be successful is now business imperative, because you need people to work for you. They're attriting too fast. They're hard to retain. They're hard to hire. And if the thing that's causing people to leave is that they don't like where they work, it's too much energy, it's wearing them out, we got to fix it. And the only place you fix it is to invest in leadership, care about having leaders who know how to create a place where people can be successful. And so for me, it's like I've spent 20 years trying to convince people that training's important, that leadership's important, that change is important. And now I think maybe for the first time, it's going to have an insane impact on an organization's ability to perform.
Yeah, I love that. So I think I'll wrap us up, Courtney, with something we say a lot, and I think it's apropos here, which is change gets you into this mess. All of those changes that have been swirling around us in the world right now is getting us into this quote unquote mess, this place that we don't really know fully how to pick it apart and how to move forward. So change will get you into that mess. Leadership will get you out of that mess. So I think that's all for this episode of our Shotcast, but we always have much more to say. If you want more, drop us a line at slingshot25.com. Until next time.